Hey everybody, this is Mike Radzwilla here with MTGOacademy.com. Today we're going to be playing some Pauper with Mono Green Stompy. Before we start playing, I just want to look at the deck and what we're going to be playing and why we're playing what we're playing. Um, we have the 4 Rankers, the 4 Vines of the Vastwood, 4 Groundswells, 2 Gather the Courage, and 2 Bone Splitters. This used to be 4 Gather the Courages, but I took out 2 for 2 more Bone Splitters because of Wandering Wolf, which is a new addition to the deck. And it's pretty good for this deck. If anyone has played the deck before or played against it, Pit Skulk is a beating, so having that same effect even though it's a 2-drop, is going to be a pretty nice addition to the deck. Aside from that, everything's pretty standard. Rogue Elephants may or may not. They show up in some lists, not all. They could easily be more Young Wolves or Kirin Rangers. Ledgewalker is a card that I think is also potentially able to be cut from the list, just because while it looks like your really standard evasion beating creature, there's really no matchup where it's good, because in any Delver matchup, you'd rather gets picked off by Cloud of Fairies and Spellstutter sprites, and so it's essentially worthless. And then in Goblins matchups against the other aggro decks, you'd rather just probably have a bigger creature. And there's plenty of those, even like a Garruk's Companion and those types of things. Or River Boa is also a card that can be replaced here pretty well. The only matchup where this is better than those would probably be the grindy games of Cloud Post, because they can't bolt. Cloud Post is going to have a difficult time dealing with it because they can't capsize it and whatnot. But even then, they play a Mole Drifter, and then you're kind of stuck because it just sits there. So as we play, it might be interesting and useful for the evolution of the deck to see how the games would play out if this were a River Boa or a Garruk's Companion or something else. I think that's all for that. The sideboard's pretty standard. We have 2 Fogs for any type of opposing aggro decks, so Infect, Goblins, maybe White Weenie, and also obviously the Empty the Warrens combo. Sabotage is for particularly for Affinity, and then the enchantments can pick up, I don't know if they're Tortured Existence decks and anything running enchantments. Hidden Spider is pretty much the key card in the Delver matchup, because resolving this early pretty much turns off all of their creatures, because most of them have flying, and if they play one, we get a 3/5 spider with reach, and it's really tough for them to come back from that. Or even if we do, it's a pretty big tempo hit. And then Hornet Stings they're pretty all around useful. They're good against Infect, against Goblins. They're also good in the Delver matchup against Spellstutter Sprite, which can hit a large amount of our cards because we have so many 1-drops. So being able to respond to a Spellstutter Sprite with a Hornet Sting is pretty good. And then Sandstorms for other aggro decks again. Goblins, Infect, and Empty the Warrens, which is a combo deck. But alright, so with that being said, that's the deck. I will start up some games, and I will see you there.